Hello everyone, it's MarthaMew here, and today we have another set review. So pokebeach again, thank you guys, have been brilliant and released the set lists a little bit early for Sun and Moon 5 for Japan. So we've got all the translations on the page now. I am joined by a friend Elliott today. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Elliott.
So we're going to try and go through these cards a little bit quicker than last time, but obviously stopping on the important ones. So you can see here, as before, we've got the sort of all of the cards in a nice big image, so you can see what's in each set. So like I said before, Japanese cards get split up into two sets. So they won't be all in type order. For obviously there'll be some grass types in the second set that we'll see. So this is what Sun and Moon 5's Ultra Sun for Japan looks like. So we start on the grass Pokemon here with a Yanma and a Yanmega. Doesn't look particularly interesting, although 120 damage isn't bad, but of course 4 energy, that's a bit excessive, but you know, it's just a random card, 120 HP, not very important. Moving down to, we've got a Roselia and a Roserade. One grass energy lure poison. Switch one of your opponent's bench with their active, and the new active is poisoned. That seems very similar to me to the Cacturn that was in the previous set that a lot of people used at the pre-release. It basically lured something in and did 40 damage to it. That can be used. I feel like that could be used in a lot of poison decks recently, because we've got that Survivor from the last set that said that Pokemon take one more damage counter from poison. So that obviously would auto do that for you.
Yeah, I can see a bunch of like poison becoming more of a thing now, because obviously there's more freaking support for it, so they might as well make more.
Yeah.
And plus this pretty much this isn't a GX, so it's just gonna slow down heavy hitting decks.
Yeah.
So it'd be that prize card game, if you know what I mean. It's oh great.
Okay, so next on these lists we've got Turtwig and that line. Actually, the Turtwig doesn't look too bad with a synthesis, search depth for a grass energy and attach to one of your Pokemon. That's not bad at all, just for
That's really good, actually. Yeah, it's good for first attack.
Its mid-evolution is nothing to really, rave about. And then we've had 2 Turtwigs. There's 2 Turtwigs in this set.
Yeah, there's 2 Turtwigs. There's one that just does tackle for 20 for 2 colourless, and then a colourless and 2 green for 50 for Razor Leaf.
I definitely run the first one.
Yeah, you definitely run the first one, because energy is the thing.
Especially since the Torterra in this set, it says 100 damage, but I'm pretty sure when I've looked at the card it says 180. Yeah, it does. So I think that might be a little bit of a doo-doo on their side. It's not 100 damage, it's 180 damage, guys. So that's pretty good for 3 grass energy and a colourless. And of course that Turtwig can start getting more energy on that to start with. So that's not actually too bad.
Yeah, and plus Earthquake does 20 to the benched one, which is oh my god, that's a nuke, more or less.
Yes, but then Ace Roller's a thing, so it wouldn't worry too much. Moving down, we've got...
It's still going for 180, it's the same HP as a freaking GX, and as powerful with one of the attacks, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's pretty good, actually, for a regular stage 2, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and plus... it's not other cards where it's you use this big attack, but it can't use this, or the power is negative. No, you can consistently use this, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
It's just the trait cost is fucking.
There's also obviously Pokemon that say it won't take any damage on the bench from any attack, so that could obviously get around that. But yeah, that seems okay as it goes. Moving on, we've got Cherubi and Cherum. Cherubi doesn't look, but it's one of those knitted ones, whether it looks that or a Claynation one. I can't tell from that picture. I'm gonna zoom.
Yeah, it's a.
Oh, it's a knitted one. That's so cute. I love it. And then the Cherum has got an ability. Each of your grass Pokemon has no weakness.
so that's
not
really
too
good
bad.
against fire.
And its Seed Bomb just does 30 damage for 1 grass energy. So,
You
I mean,
just
it's a
use
stage 1, so it's not as good as if it was a basic and you just play it for a tech, but Carnivine, Loom Over, 90 damage minus, does 10 less damage for each damage counter on it. We've seen that plenty of times before.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Now, next is the first of the 2 evolutions that are in this set that we're going to get.
Yeah.
This is the least good one out of the 2, if you ask me. Leafeon GX. Let's read this first. HP 200, which is, I think, how much all of the evolutions have managed to settle at.
Yeah, evolutions are just standard 200 HP more.
Looks like it. Its ability is called Nature's Breath. Once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is your active, you may heal 50 damage from one of your Pokemon with energy attached. It doesn't matter what type of energy. That is the important thing. You can run multi-energy decks with this thing and it will work.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Really good.
That can work well with that Torterra. If it's damaging too much things on the bench, you can just heal 50 damage from something that's getting a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, and then you just use the Torterra's healing attack for another 50. That's 100 done.
The only thing I don't like with these 2 new evolution GXs is that they don't have a 1 energy cost basic attack. They've got this one's GX attack only costs one grass energy, but it's not going to do anything. I mean, you'd have to use that right now, like right at the start, and that's not the best thing. But its other attack at least is a grass energy and then a double colourless or 2 colourless for 110 damage, which is exactly the same as Fairy Wind on Sylveon. Its GX attack, Grand Bloom GX. For each basic Pokemon on your bench, search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. So actually that is something you'd use pretty early game if you manage to spam your bench, so I guess that's not bad.
Yeah, you'd pretty much use Fan Club, and like Nestballs, get as much like Eevees as possible.
Well, Bridget would be the better one to go for, because that's just 3, But run a mixture of the 2 in deck. That's not bad. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's just like
I feel like it's more of a tech evolution than a actual. It's going to do anything.
Yeah.
But I really like the artwork, and I can't wait to see the full art.
Yeah. It's still good for the abilities, to be honest with you. And the attack's not bad. It's like 2 turns it can kill pretty much most to anything.
Yeah. So moving on, we actually have the first of the Rotoms. They all have exactly the same ability of if there's 9 or more Pokemon tool cards in your discard pile, you don't pay the cost of attacks.
Yeah.
So you can basically attack for free as long as you've got 9 tool cards or more in your discard pile. Which is pretty good. This one does 60 damage and you discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active. It's not a lot, I guess, but it's a basic Pokemon and that could be a 60 damage for free, so...
Yeah. I just don't like the Rotom arts, to be honest. They just look like...
they're not too bad.
Ever since friggin' the Ultra Sun game where Rotom just talks every 5 seconds, I'm just now. It's like, hey, here's the information you've learnt several million times. We get it. Let me check the map. Yeah.
Okay.
But the discard energy is pretty much decent, but it is special energy specific, so it's not like, oh, kill an energy.
Okay, so Shaman next. This looks like I think there was a Skyform one as well, but that might be in the other set.
Yeah, I think that's in the moon set probably.
Yeah. So Beckon for a colourless energy. Search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon of different types and put them onto your bench. Then shuffle your deck. That will work with the Leafeon.
Leafeon, yeah.
And then 30 damage, your opponent's active Pokemon sound asleep. So it's a tech. That's all I see in that card. It's a pretty good tech. You wouldn't cry about seeing that first turn.
Yeah, it's pretty much let it be knocked out, bring in the Sylveon, evolve everything, done!
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the fire Pokemon now by the looks. We got a Magmar. Doesn't look particularly interesting, just 80 damage and you discard an energy.
Yeah, and it mills the wall.
Mills for the first one. just one card.
Yeah.
The Magmortar has an ability, Scorching Body. If this Pokemon is active and is damaged by an attack, the attacking Pokemon is now burned. So it's like a poison barb, but it's a burning barb on itself.
Yeah.
And then 80 damage and discarding 2 energy, and it does 80 more. So it can do 160 if you discard 2 energy. And I suppose because it's a fire type, if you've got the special fire energy on there, then you don't actually discard energy. So it's 160 for free, basically.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I guess it's interesting, but it's just like the HP. If it had like 20 more, it'd be more liable. But now it's just like some attacks can just kill it with an attack.
I mean, it's a stage 1, so you can't really expect too much.
Yeah. God damn it.
Then we have the next set of Sinnoh starters. Chimchar. That not very interesting at all. Two different types of Chimchar as well, by the looks, actually.
Yeah, I think they've done 2 of each one. Yeah, because like freaking Piplup had 2 types in the same set, didn't it? Yeah, depends on gender.
Neither of those Chimchar have like anything over the other. No, just go for the artwork, you like.
Yeah, I'd go with the second one because, you know...
The first one's a bit boring, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. The first one's boring and the second one's just like, oh, you can try and get 30 damage? Yes, it's more... And plus it's colourless anyway.
Yeah. So the Monferno is literally just burning your opponent for 1 energy. These are actually all very low energy attacks on these. So the Infernape only takes 2 energy. 50 damage and now burned, and its ability is it takes 6 more damage counters between turns from burn. So actually that 50 damage is going to be 160 damage. No, 110 even, sorry. Because it also burns them. So 2 energy for 110 damage. Yes.
That's really good.
And it's going to be doing a lot more than that if they don't roll out of the burn between their next turn as well.
Yeah. Plus, if you have like 2 of them on the bench, that's like freaking 120.
Though for a stage 2, the 130 HP is a little bit low, but then it is quite overpowered, so I can see why. At the same point.
Yeah. So pretty much like another thing that if you use like the Magmortar. Oh wait, no, that doesn't burn.
Yeah. It only burns if it gets hit, yeah. So the next one is the second Rotom, as we said before, the same exact ability, but this one does 80 damage. No effect this time though. Pretty simple. Moving on to Salandit, nothing interesting there. The Salazzle. The first one doesn't do any damage, but it leaves them with every type of condition under the sun. Bone Poison and Confused. And then the second one is 60 plus, 60 more if it's got a condition. So if you've used the first attack already and live, then you're doing 120 in the next turn.
That's really good.
And that's pretty good because they're taking 20 from the burn, 10 from the poison, and 30 if they actually hit themselves in confusion. So... that has the potential to be not too bad.
Yeah, and then if you just have a Fernape on the bench, that's another 60.
Yeah, God. So, Turtonator. 100 damage for 4 energy. Ouch. That's a bit much.
Yeah.
Moving on from that. A Murkrow, 10 damage, can't retreat. Fair enough. Honchkrow, 90 damage, basic attack, nothing else. First attack seems pretty cool. Snatch turn, discard a random card from your opponent's hand and then run away to the bench. I love it. This next set of evolutions is really interesting. The Sneasel and Weavile. The Sneasel states that Stealthy Smash, you can attack only if you go second and only on your first turn. Discard an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. You can use this attack only if you go second and only on your first turn. Oh, that's interesting. It's very interesting, but you discard an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon, but because you go second, that sort of sets the opponent back a turn because they've not been able to attack in their first turn. That's interesting. I like that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you'd have to actually open it.
Yeah, but the Weavile itself is actually really interesting as well.
Yeah.
The first attack, yeah, fair enough, 10 damage puts them to sleep. And actually, sleep is like one of the most annoying conditions. So...
It really is, yeah.
Because you can't retreat normally with a sleep. You have to actually switch them.
Or use like an ability or a card that makes them switch, right?
Yeah. So, and then we've got Dark Command for 50 times damage. This attack does 50 times the number of your opponent's Pokemon with abilities. And there are so many Pokemon these days being played just for the abilities. And it's actually crazy how much damage that can do for one energy.
Yeah, and especially how many Pokemon people can actually like get out on the bench nowadays with abilities and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know, there might be a ruling on this somewhere, but I would believe it would count if 2 of the same Pokemon were on the opponent's field that had the same ability. Because the way it's worded, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it'd probably go from each individual one rather than with the same name.
Yeah.
Because that seems how this kind of game's mechanic goes, like for each specific one.
Yeah,
so
say if you
the same name, it's still 100.
Yeah, I feel like that would be fair.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, so moving on from that, we've got a really boring Stunky, and just as a boring Skunk Tank, although the first one says the opponent flips 2 coins, and if either of it is heads, the attack does nothing on the next turn, and just doing 50 damage as it is, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
And 100 damage for 3 energy, 2 dark and 1 colourless. It's not going to be run, but it's not bad at the same time. Now we come to the first. Yeah, we come to the first Prism card, guys. Now, I'd kind of like to hear everyone's opinion in the comments. If you have a second to comment, please. What rarity do you think the Prisms are going to be? Do you think they're going to be as rare as Ultra Rares? Do you think they're going to be Secret Rares? Well, they're not going to be Secret Rares because they're actually numbered in the set, so they're not Secret Rares. But how rare do you think they're going to be? Do you think they're going to be like Hollows? Because they look more like Hollows than they do Ultra Rares, obviously. But
yeah.
I'll just zoom in on this one for you guys. There we go. So this is the Darkrai. So you can see here we've got the underneath the picture we've got the Prism Star rule, which states that they can only have one of them in the deck. So yeah, it's a basic Pokemon with 160 HP, and the Prism Star rule is basically you can't have more than 1 Prism Star card with the same name in your deck. If a Prism Star card is discarded, you put it in the Lost Zone. And its ability on this Darkrai is when you play this Pokemon from your hand to your bench, you may attach 2 Darkness energy from your hand to this Pokemon. So you can turbo it up straight away, which is really important considering it's a 4 energy attack. Abyssal Sleep for 120 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep, and your opponent flips 2 coins instead of 1 between turns, and if either of them is tails, that Pokemon is still asleep. Yeah, so it's pretty good really because it does 120 damage as it is, and obviously it can turbo itself up when you play it. So you kind of want to make sure when you play it you've got energy in your hand to attach to it. Yeah. So pretty much just a Professor's Letter and then voila. That seems like one of the better Prism Star cards I remember in this set. These. Some of like the Prism cards are like on par with GXs, to be honest with you, like with abilities and stuff. Yeah. Sure, so, they pretty much just have an ability and then a really expensive attack, but it's actually kind of worth it because the attack is so good, and like yes, it has 160 HP and it can be knocked out, blah blah blah. But if it's like still asleep, then it's really pesky for your opponent. Yeah, and they have to roll 2 heads to be able to get out of that sleep as well. Yeah. And plus, yeah. Anyway, then we get the first of the Steel Pokemon here with an Alolan Diglett, and as usual with the Alolan Pokemon, it's a free energy, no energy cost attack. Flip a coin until you get tails, and attack does 10 damage times the number of heads. So it's a really, really basic one, like they usually are, because you can't have it too OP for a free attack.
What you mean it is OP? Just flip like 25 heads and knock out pretty much anything in the game.
Yeah, sure.
Just using weighted coin that goes.
Then we've got Gold Rush from a Lowland Duck Trio, which has only got 60 HP. That's just really little. Discard as many metal energy cards from your hand as you like, and it does 30 damage for each energy discarded in this way. So that could be a way to discard energy really quickly. It doesn't cost energy yet. You don't actually have to put any energy on the Pokemon itself, you just have to discard energy from your hand to do the damage. So...
It's just
moving along. So a really boring Magnemite. Oh, the 2 Magnemites in this set. I prefer the second artwork.
Yeah.
I think that looks really pretty.
Yeah,
the second one,
second.
and actually ability. The second one's got an ability. If it's on your bench, it takes no damage from attacks. But attacks full stop. So I'm guessing that's your attacks and the opponent's attacks. So pretty good. I like that one. Definitely run the second one.
I kind of run the first one because you search the deck for free metal energies and the attack.
Reveal them, put them into your hand. Yeah. It depends what kind of deck you're using.
Yeah, it depends what your deck. If you like Magnemite or Magnezone kind of deck, you kind of use like 2/2, I suppose.
Yeah. Actually, I remember what the Magnezone does in this now, and I'm really anxious to get that. So the Magneton isn't anything special by the looks. It's just moves straight over to the Magnezone. Evolves from Magneton, obviously. Ability. This is a really good ability. Magnetic Circuit. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach metal energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So, as often as you like, you can just attach energy anywhere.
Yeah, that's why the first one's...
Yeah, that is pretty damn good.
Oh my god. Freaking have 8 Gene in your hand and just attach them to Duskmane and the other Solgaleo. You're set.
I think they were both psychic types though, so I'm not sure. Oh, obviously the Solgaleo isn't, but the Duskmane one is.
The Duskmane's psychic.
And then its actual attack itself is 3 metal energy and a colourless, ouch, for 130, and it can't use that next turn, so it's not really going to be attacking, I wouldn't have said, but its ability is amazing.
Yeah, it's still good.
Shield on, the return of fossils. Doesn't everyone love fossils?
Praise the Helix fossil!
No. Except they've changed the mechanic on this, that all of the fossils evolve from the same thing. They all evolve from a mysterious fossil instead of actually having their own fossil. So this used to be obviously the shield fossil. But now it's just the mysterious fossil, which makes it a lot easier. And there's a lot of cards in this to look at the bottom of your deck as well.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember. There used to be some sort of there's a fossil thing from, I don't know if it's still in rotation actually. I really can't remember. But you look at you fossil excavation kit. You look at the bottom 4 cards of your deck for a fossil, and then put it onto your bench.
That sounds good.
Anyway, so the Bastiodon is another metal Pokemon with an ability. They're really amping up the metal support in this set specifically. I think that's literally because of the almighty Gardevoir just being OP, and they need something to put down Gardevoir. Poor Gardevoir.
Yeah.
Can't she have a moment to shine?
Literally just take it out in the garden just to be shot.
They do all of this for Gardevoir, but yet they only put 1 card in that prevents Greninja Break from being a thing. Giratina that stops break abilities. That's literally all they did.
Yeah.
For that. But anyway, its ability is Earth Shield. Prevent all damage done to your metal Pokemon from attacks of your opponent's Pokemon with any special energy attached to them. That's OP. If your opponent is using special energy on stuff, your metal Pokemon just can't. They're immune. So you don't want to run this with anything that gets rid of special energy because you want your opponent to have a special energy on them.
Yeah.
And actually, this one's attack itself isn't bad either. For 3 energy, 110 damage, and you can switch the opponent's active with one of their bench. So you can just keep... You can basically pull in something with a special energy so that they can't attack with it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And force the switch.
Yeah, I can't debate whether the Bastardon or the is it Magnerian EX, which pretty much yeah, what she said. And
that stops the effects of
the opponent's attack.
Yeah, but this stops damage as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't stop the effects, it stops the damage, which the damage is what kills you, so...
Yeah. But it depends what you're up against, to be honest with you, and plus this has to evolve more and takes more time.
Yeah, the thing is that this Bastardon is, obviously, because it's a fossil Pokemon, it's stage 2, even though it's only evolved from technically one Pokemon, because it's had to evolve from the fossil as well. So it's an interesting one. I've never actually managed to work a fossil deck personally, so kudos to those who can. Anyway, before I'm going on for too long, because we're already 25 minutes in and we're not even past the first set. I'm sorry guys. We're having a nice discussion and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Put something in the chat, in the comments, if you are enjoying and you're still here. So we have a Bronzor that just puts your Pokemon to sleep and does 20 damage, bit of roaring. Bronzong, so about 20 damage, triple coin. Now, if its head's now paralysed, so it doesn't auto-paralyse, which is a bit meh. 60 damage if your Pokemon has a Psychic Pokemon in play, just 60 more, so very, very sort of situational. Not going to be seen at all. Then we have a Heatran. Oh, I didn't know about this one before. Guard Press for 2 energy. 30 damage. Any damage done to this Pokemon by attached to an opponent's next turn is reduced by 30, so it's basically exactly the same as Type Null's first attack. I can't remember what it's called, but it's very similar to that. Boiler Impact does 130 damage and it's got 2 energy from this Pokemon. Okay. So the next one is the second Prism Star Pokemon, which is the Solgaleo. Again with 160 HP. It's a basic Pokemon this time, not a evolution. So they've just gone straight into, here, bam, Solgaleo. Prism Star rule, as usual, can't have more than one with the same name in your deck. So you can use multiple Prism Stars, but only one of each type.
Yeah.
Okay, so for 1 Metal Energy, does Rising Star, and for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play, attach a Metal Energy card from your discard pile to a Pokemon in any way you like. So you have to get them into the discard pile in the first place for that to be really useful. But at the same point, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not that difficult to get them in the discard pile. From experiences playing that deck, because there's a lot of stuff and attacks that discard the energy anyway. Yeah,
especially like that. Bats just mentioned the Dog Trio, that when it's a free attack that you just discard energy willy-nilly from your hand, just to damage things.
That you just use stuff like Sycamore, Ultra Ball.
Yeah, get rid of energy as much as you can. And it's a second attack for 4 Metal Energy, Corona Impact, 160 damage, and it can't attack during your next turn. I mean, fair enough, it's doing 160 damage, it shouldn't be able to attack in the next turn.
I see this being run with the other Solgaleo that can just bam out energy, like Soul Burst, and then immediately discard the energy, bring this one back in, like you would require, and then just attach.
Yeah.
That's energy.
Yeah.
Just means you don't have to. You shouldn't run I shouldn't run Parallel City now because only 3.
You need more Pokemon in play for that to do. For that to be better. Anyway, so Duskmane Necrozma, 190 HP. So it's actually a much lower. I suppose it's a basic. So what can you expect? It's an Ultra Beast as well, because obviously it's a Necrozma, even though it looks like Solgaleo.
It's Necrozma. I learned that from my video game when I used to PP Max on Solgaleo and think it would actually work on Necrozma.
And then we've got its attacks. It's got no ability this time. It's just 3 colourless energy. For Claw Slash, it does 60 damage. That's a lot of energy for not much damage, I have to say. And then 3 metal energy and a colourless for Meteor Tempest, which does 220 damage, and you discard 3 energy from the Pokemon. So that can work again with that other Solgaleo. So it's discarding energy. So it does take a while to set it up though, but like I said, there's been lots and lots of metal support in this set. Actually, this one is a metal type, it's not a psychic type.
Oh yes. I pretty much everything's pretty much focusing on discarding energy now with metal energy, so pretty much
Looks like it.
Yeah, you use this, then you bring the other Solgaleo. Pray to God they have at least three things on their bench, and then attach that energy to Duskmane, or bring in a Rayquaza just to do 2, and then do the last one onto that, because you're always going to be in that awkward situation because it's 4 energy and you need to discard 3.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much use a Turbo Storm or anything, and then attach an energy next turn to do that 220 attack.
Yeah, and its GX attack is 3 Metal Energy. Eclipse Sun GX, 250 damage. Ouch, that's knocking out basically anything, because there's nothing that adds more HP. I don't think there's any 220 HP stage 1 Pokemon that you could chuck a belt on that would take it over 250. I think 250 is the maximum HP at the minute.
Yeah, so
So that's going to knock out anything. And this attack can only be used if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. I think that's because it's a guaranteed knockout.
Yeah.
Just about.
I only just realised that it's a red GX.
Yes, it's because it's an Ultra Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you just use, like, if you can't really get to the other Solgaleo, you just use this one GX, I suppose. But
yeah,
the other Solgaleo GX attack is way better than the first one. It's like, attach 5 energy, done.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether we do have, by the way, guys, another little bit to go on after this that we think is probably going to be added to our Sun and Moon 5 set, which is the Ultra Prism, I think. Sun and Moon Ultra Prism is what our set is called. But anyway, moving on, we've got a Dialga GX, which this time is a Dragon type and not a Metal type. It's got, for 1 Metal Energy, clock up, draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. I like that. It's a basic Pokemon. It goes down, 1 energy, draw up until 6. I like it. It's really simple, really nice. I like it.
Yeah, really simple. First turn or second turn, I need cards. Done.
Absolutely. And
like
Shred. Shred for a Metal Energy and 2 Colorless Energy, 80 damage, and this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active. That includes abilities. So if there's an ability providing protection against GX or EX Pokemon, this goes straight through at 80 damage. It also will mean that if there's something that says like basic Pokemon can't attack it, or anything that says it stops the damage, this one will go through it. This will do 80 damage no matter what the opponent's active.
So it kill Hooper.
It will. It's a dragon type, unfortunately, so nothing I don't think is weak to dragon apart from other dragons. But these days they tend to have been putting
this one's weak to fairy, though.
I was going to say, this one's weak to fairy. These days they seem to be putting it as weakness as fairy, not as other dragons. But oh well. Its GX attack is actually worth all of this 5 energy. It's actually crazy. Timeless GX, 150 damage, and once the turn's over, it's your turn again. So it's doing 150 damage, which is a lot, and then you're going to be doing another turn. So either you've got something else set up on the bench that can knock something out, or you just use Shred, which 150 plus 80 is 230. That's probably going to knock something out.
Yeah.
If it's a GX or EX and you've got a choice band on this thing, that is going to knock it out straight up. You could end up knocking 2 things out if you've got a choice band on it and it's doing 180 to start with, and then you know it's crazy. That attack needs that amount of energy, otherwise it's just stupid.
I can definitely see this deck have like a Dialga deck with basically like the Solgaleo that attaches Rayquaza and a bunch of ways to get energy onto the bench, like Max Elixir and
and it uses Metal Energy again, so another thing that's using Metal Energy. So it can go in all those Metal Energy decks. It is weak to Fairy, so it's kind of a bit weird because it's in Metal decks but weak to Fairy. Okay, but still. And the Devoured Field card as well from the last set, which adds 10 damage to Dragon and Dark Pokemon attacks. It's a Stadium card. That will make that do. I mean, that coupled with a choice band is just that's mental.
Yeah, it's really fucking amazing.
Yeah, this Dialga is crazy. Okay, trying to move on for you guys. Lickitung, pretty boring. Licky also looks pretty boring actually. I'm not even gonna. So Eevee, not worth running, guys. Run the one from base set Sun Moon.
Yeah.
Glameow. But that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any resistance though. No, I was looking at thinking it was the weakness. Sorry, ignore me.
Yeah.
Glameow, rubbish. Not even looking at it. I suppose it. Takes 40 less damage from attacks in the next turn. I guess that's not too bad for the Glameow, but yeah. Anyway, Purugly, discard an opponent's stadium card in play, and if you do, prevent all effects of attacks including damage to this Pokemon during your next turn. So it's only your opponent's stadium card, you can't discard your own, so you can't play like I like playing Delinquent, as in I've played this stadium card, I don't need the stadium card, I'm just going to Delinquent you.
Yeah.
Cast aside 60 damage, discard random cards from your opponent's hand until there are only 3 cards remaining. I like that. That's so dirty. I like it, it's so dirty. Anyway, Fan Rotom, again, exactly the same ability as the other Rotoms. This one does Spinning Spin. Okay. This attack does 20 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's like Tapu Koko. It's like Flying Clip Tapu Koko, but it takes 3 energy to do. Except if you've got more than 9 tool cards in your discard pile, then it's completely free. So it's not an early game thing, but late game, if you've got a lot of damage spread about, that's not too bad.
I don't like that artwork at all.
Anyway, we have an Oranguru, basic Pokemon again, not as good as the Instruct one. Yeah. Management, put 3 cards from your discard pile onto the bottom of your deck in any order you like. Now this works with that fossil thing that I was talking about earlier. There's also something in the other set of this, I think, that really works with that, because you draw from the bottom of your deck. It's really
this
funny.
is also good for Looker.
So yes, I think it is Looker, isn't it? So that's pretty good.
Looker.
That might be pretty good. So they've reprinted Potion by the looks. This is the mysterious fossil I was talking about earlier. You play this card as if it was a 60 HP colourless basic Pokemon. At any time during your turn before you attack, you may discard this card from play. This card can't retreat. So you can play it onto your bench, and then obviously it evolves into one of the fossils. That's basically how that works. They have reprinted Palpad. Shuffle 2 support cards from your discard pile into your deck. Everyone needs this now that Versus Seeker is gone. Everyone needs the Palpad.
I finally put it back in! Yes!
You know the other good thing they've reprinted as well? Nest Ball. Just chucking a basic Pokemon onto your bench. I love it. I'm so happy those 2 particular cards are coming back into rotation. Palpad's coming back into rotation. Nest Ball's just getting reprinted.
They'll stay in rotation for a long time now.
They've been really boring and have used exactly the same Nest Ball trainer artwork. Unless this is just one that they've had as a stock image, it's not actually the right one. Anyway, they're also reprinting Pokemon Catcher, not even going to look at it, can't be bothered. Missing Clover, this is a really interesting card. I kind of wanted to do a deck on this because it's really interesting. You may play either you may play either 1 Missing Clover card or 4 Missing Clover card at the same time. If you play 1, look at the top card of your deck and return it to the top of your deck. If you play 4 at the same time, you take a prize card. There's things that put items from the discard pile either into your hand or back into your deck. This is fantastic. Just to keep taking prize cards like that, it's fantastic. I love it.
There's also, isn't it Mallow that stacks puts some 2 of a card
onto the top? Yeah. So you can basically make sure you get all of them into your hand by using those cards. Yes, exactly. It's fantastic.
And then you use Guzzlord. Use Guzzlord and 8 of this, and then BAM! I win!
Anyway, so moving on, we actually have a Prism Star trainer card as well. This one's Cyrus.
I really think that everybody's just gonna use at least one of this if
possibly if they're running the right type of deck. This card can only be used if your active Pokemon is a water or metal type. Okay, so your opponent chooses 2 of their bench Pokemon and shuffles their other bench Pokemon and all cards attached to them into their deck. Ouch. It's kind of like a Plea, but even worse. Plea GX from Sylveon, but even worse, because they don't go back to their hands, they go back into their decks and out of play completely. Crazy.
And if your opponent has a full bench, It's really painful.
The thing is with this is, yes, it's a supporter, but it's because it's a Prism card, it goes to the lost zone, so there's nothing that will get this card back. You can only use it once.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Yeah, that is fair for what it's doing. It's like a GX card, almost.
Yeah, almost.
The GX attack in a trainer.
Yeah.
So we have a Gardenia, which heals 80 damage from one of your Pokemon with any grass energy attached to it. So it's pretty much like the what's her name? Lana?
Yeah, Lana.
Yeah, but that does it heals 50 damage from anything on your field with water energy to it. This only does it to one with grass energy to it. But it is healing slightly more, so fair enough.
Yeah.
They've reprinted Fan Club, but with a different artwork that is actually adorable. Have you seen this artwork?
Yeah, they actually have the mum now. Oh my god.
It's so cute, this artwork. Okay. Anyway, so we all know what Fan Club does, I hope. Search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. That's important because Tapu Lele is a thing in the format, but it is. Yeah. It really is. It puts them into your hand so that you can play Tapu Lele from your hand and not obviously just chuck it straight onto the bench, because that's not how you want to use Tapu Lele. So you've got Mars then, another supporter, draw 2 cards and discard a random card from your opponent's hand. I really like that.
Yeah, I really like that. It's because I run 2 Kukui, I might just make a Kukui 1 and then run this one because it's just so good.
There's 3 cards now that do basically the same thing. They draw 2 cards and then they have different effects. So you've got Kukui that does 20 more damage. You've got Breeder who heals 20 damage. And then this one that discards a random card from your opponent's hand. I love it.
I like this kind of cards that do draw 2 and then just a generic effect. I can see that happening all over the sets.
Yeah. They're reprinting Lily again. I don't know, they've used the old artwork here, but I'm not sure if that's the artwork we'll get. It's the same as the other card, the Nest Ball. It might get a different artwork, I don't know. But that's definitely the same Lily artwork as before. We all know what Lily does by now. Anyway, we've got a stadium card called Mount Coronet. Again, arcing back to the Sinnoh region. What is it with Pokemon doing Sinnoh things? Is anybody expecting Gen 4 remakes?
Give us the goddamn game already! But not on the Switch, I'd like it on the DS so I can actually play it.
So this one says, once during each player's turn, that a player may put 2 metal energy from their discard pile into their hand.
That's pretty much energy retrieval, but with metal.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much, but it's a stadium, so you can use it every turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but if your opponent's using a metal energy, they can use it too, but...
Yeah,
it's more effective. Anyway.
I also love the fact that they are reprinting double colourless energy too. Thank you for reprinting DCE. We need it. Thank you. Unit energy, GRW. So that's grass, fire, water. This card provides colourless energy. When this card is attached to a Pokemon, this provides grass, fire, and water energy, but only provides 1 energy at a time. So it's pretty good for multi-energy decks.
Yeah, it is. And in the Moon one, they do a psychic, metal, and wasn't it fairy?
I don't know. We'll come to it when we get there.
Yeah, we'll come to it.
But I can see grass and water being run together quite a lot with these sets coming out, especially with personally the evolutions make that a thing for me. So there's apparently 3 cards that they don't know about, and I'm pretty sure that might be the secret rares. It says 67, 68, and 69 unknown, so that might well be the secret rares, guys, or which you don't know yet.
They're probably the secret rares.
So there will be just as much of a secret to you as they are to us when it comes out.
Yeah. Point of the secret rares, secret.
So then we have the trainer cards that we've just seen, but then in full art, and I have to say,
Mars looks badass.
Well, Gardenia looks cool, and Mars just, as you say, looks badass as hell. Yeah. Look at that, Team Galactic. Pretty cool.
For those people who started in the Sinnoh one, they'd realise that, oh god, everyone just thought Mars was just an absolute bitch, and yes, they're right, but she looks cool, so shut up.
So we've got a couple more unknown cards as well there. So we've got 71 and 73 unknown as well. So I don't know if they're just full arts or something, but they're missing. So we can't show you those guys, unfortunately. But we can make extrapolations and we'll find them when we get into the set. But hopefully they're not too important and I'm not going to miss anything. Okay, so we move on to the next set here, and we've got, by the looks, we've got another Sandshrew and the Empoleon and everything else in this. So sorry guys, this is a really long video. I'm trying, but we want to cover everything. So
we want to cover everything and then talk about random crap.
So we've got an Alolan Sandshrew, which is obviously, again, because Alolan Pokemon got a free attack. Flip 3 coins. Its attack does 10 damage times the number of heads. So it's not as good as that other one where you can just keep flipping coins.
Yeah, it isn't good as a Doug.
Alolan, yeah, that one. And we got Alolan Sandslash, again, does no cost attack, which actually is a new thing that they've really been doing for stage 1s, because it used to just be the basic Pokemon that got a free attack. But this one does 30 damage, and if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack during your opponent's next turn, you place 6 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So it's like a bursting balloon.
Yeah, it's a bursting balloon. It's great.
I actually really like that. That's not bad at all. And then Icy Breath for 90 damage for a Water Energy and 2 Colourless Energies. So that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And then we have the 2 Piplups.
Yeah.
Which one would be your... Well, the second one's got 2 attacks as opposed to the first one's only got 1.
Yeah. But I'd go with the first one because it does 20 damage and then the effect. The other one's just, I'm going to do 10 or I'm going to do 20.
The first one does damage to anywhere on your opponent's board as well. It's not just the active. So
and it isn't replied by weakness or resistance for the punched. Good.
So
the second one's artwork is really cute though. Just look at it. It's just winking like, I'm going to evolve.
So Primplup, pretty boring, not even going to go there. Empoleon, 160 HP, so it's not too bad again. 20 damage times the number of Pokemon on each player's bench, so that could be up to 10. So 10 times, that could do 200 damage if you've both got full benches.
Or you use that stadium that makes everybody use 8 and just...
that's out of rotation now, I think, Skyfield, so
Never
I won't worry about that.
I'm talking crap, it's max 10.
So Whirlpool for 90 damage, discard 1 energy from your opponent's active, so 1 any energy, which just says 1 energy.
That's really good.
It could be special, could be basic.
Yeah.
Doesn't specify, so that's really good. Moving on, so we've got Buizel, boring, Floatzel.
How could you say it's boring? Look at that artwork. So cute.
I mean, it is. I actually really like Buizel and Floatzel, but I wish they were better Pokemon so I could actually use them. They just don't have as much of a boom when you try and use them, but still. Anyway, again, another Pokemon that if you flip a coin, it will prevent effects of attacks and damage in the next turn. 80 damage, discarding 1 energy. It's not anything special, really.
No, I don't even think it should be discarding the energy for that.
No.
To be honest with you.
So we have Ice Shard, 20 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a fire Pokemon, this attack does 40 more damage. So situational. Abominable Snow, its ability. This is a really long ability. Blessing of the Frost-Covered Trees. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may attach a Water Energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. Ugh. So, but the thing is, you have to have evolved into this for that to work in the first place. Okay.
Yeah.
And then its second attack is a lot of energy, does 80 damage and puts him to sleep. Okay, moving on to the best card in the set. I'm joking.
Subjective opinion, people. Subjective opinion.
Yeah, we all know how much I like the evolutions. If Mew wasn't my mascot, the evolutions would be if I could just pick one. So it's again got 200 HP, evolves from Eevee, obviously. Ability. This is what makes this Pokemon fantastic. Freezing Stare. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, each of your opponent's Pokemon EX and GX in play, in their hand and their discard pile have no abilities apart from Glaceon's Freezing Stare. That shuts down so many decks, it's actually unreal.
Yeah. Especially because the game's more or less so reliant on EX and GX right now.
Yes. yeah, that shuts down the Dark Rise restoration from the discard pile. It shuts down Tapu Lele. It shuts down Gardevoir. Those are the 3 I can really think. Well, no, it's mainly just the last 2 that are in main play at the minute.
Yeah.
But it shuts down a lot.
Yeah, it shuts down a lot. Why is it that Glaceon is like the one evolution that just hates opponent doing stuff? I've just noticed that. I'll prevent the evolution one. I'll prevent all this now.
It's because it's an ice type, and ice types do that in game as well.
Because it's an ice queen. She's an asshole.
And again, with the fact that it doesn't have a 1 energy attack at all on this Pokemon, it goes straight into the fact that it needs a water energy and 2 colourless energies for Frozen Bullet. It basically does exactly the same as Umbreon GX, 90 damage to the active, 30 damage to one of their bench. Exactly the same wording. It's really not bad. I love Umbreon for the bench damage. It's really good. 90 as well for the active isn't a bad amount of damage considering it's doing spread damage to the bench. So I really like that. Its GX attack is the same amount of energy. Polar Spear GX, 50 times damage. This attack does 50 times the number of damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay.
It's like second blood, more or less.
Yes, yeah, a little bit. But the way that is good is because Frozen Bullet does damage to a bench. They're always going to be coming in, well, you think hopefully that they'll be coming in with damage. So if they've got that 30 damage from the bench that it's attacked with its normal one, then 50 times 30 is
150.
Yeah. So, that's quite a lot of damage. So it's doing 150 on top of the 30 damage it's already got, so it's effectively 180. So that can knock stuff out, and you run this with stuff that'll do stuff to the rest of the bench as well. So if you run this with Glaceon, sorry. If you run it with Ninetales GX, which does 50 to a bench Pokemon. Boom, exactly. I love this card so much. I'm going to do this with my Ninetales deck. I have no doubt. It just fits in there so nicely. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's perfect, that deck.
Anyway. So, and because Ninetales doesn't have an ability itself, it doesn't shut down Ninetales' abilities. It shuts... it only shuts down the opponent's abilities, actually. I almost thought it shut down your abilities as well, but it doesn't, so that's even better.
That may be fair, but, nah. But if your opponent has, a missing stare as well, it's just those two are just going to be staring at each other until, okay, who kills each first?
Yes, exactly. Anyway, so we've got another Rotom.
Another 2 Rotoms.
Another 2 Rotoms. We've got a Wash Rotom and a Frost Rotom. So the Wash one does Wash Arrow. This effect does 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, bench only. And then the Frost one does 10 plus. This attack does 20 more damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So any energy on their opponent's board, it does 20 more damage for. That's not too bad, I guess.
The last attack's good, but the card is absolutely shit because it has 90 HP and it's a bunch of crap, and I don't like its artwork. Just look at it. What the hell? It's always a soulless.
Okay, moving along. Manaphy. Search your discard pile for 5 water energy, show them to your opponent, shuffle them into your deck. That's a late game Pokemon to play.
Yeah, the late game basic.
It's other attack, isn't it? It's definitely attack. Anyway, so Electabuzz, Electivire, 60 damage. If the defending Pokemon's a metal Pokemon, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. Okay.
Seems rather doing stuff for metal or against metal. I don't understand. Because the plasma's a thing.
Yeah, so its second attack does 130 damage. Okay, moving along. Shinx, Runaway Evolution. This Pokemon can evolve the turn it's played if it's the first turn of the player going second. I like that. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's there's more and more decks these days that are wanting to go second.
Yeah.
There's 2 Shinx in this deck. There's 2 Shinx in this set as well, actually.
This one, the second Shinx does the same as the Turtwig of I'm gonna
search deck for a lightning and attach it to this Pokemon.
You'd still use the first one just in case you do go second.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. Well, you'd have to have a Luxio in hand as well.
Yeah.
Or be able to get it, obviously.
Yeah.
Although it does say it can evolve, so that you could use a rare candy as well, because it just says it can evolve. It doesn't necessarily say that it has to evolve into
Because the
Shinx.
wording on red can be is like, oh, you can evolve into the superior stage 2, so like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, so that's not too bad actually. So Luxio, 30 damage, you can't play item cards from the hand during next turn. That's okay, I like that.
That's life and the deck in a card.
So the Luxray has an ability called Intimidating Fang, and as long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks do 30 less damage. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Its normal attack is 2 lightning and a colourless energy voltage arrow. Discard all lightning energy attached to this Pokemon. Its attack does 150 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, so it can attack with bench as well. So if your opponent's thought, oh, I'm gonna die, this Pokemon hasn't got much left on it or whatever, it can do 150 damage to a bench Pokemon. That's not too bad. It does discard all the lightning energy, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you use this one to like nitpick the back row, so they don't have much of a front, to be honest. Because people like to set up the bench and then let the thing that's in the active get killed, and then boom.
Yeah. So moving on, we've got, I'm pretty sure, a very boring Pachirisu. Search for each of your bench Pokemon with Nuzzle. It does. You can search it for lightning energy and attach it to that Pokemon. Okay. So it only attaches it to the Pokemon with Nuzzle. Okay, I'm just moving on. Anyway, the Lightning Rotom, this is the basic Rotom, I think. Yeah. So, again, exactly the same ability. 3 Lightning Energy, Plasma Slash, 120 damage, and it can't attack during next turn. Moving on. Drifloon, bit boring. Drifblim, 80 damage, your opponent switches there. Yeah, okay. Damage transport move, 4 damage counter from each of your Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. That can be devastating if you've got lots of bench damage. So moving on again. Spirit. I'm trying to get through these guys because we're almost an hour in. I'm sorry.
Oh god.
Spiritomb, Lightless World. Search your discard pile for 2 supporter cards, turn them to your opponent, and put them into your hand. I like that a lot because
that's pretty much that's like Versus Seeker, but
but for 2. But you obviously can only use them in the next set, so next turn. So it actually frees up your hand from using Lusamine, I guess, because Lusamine would do it. But then you could also have used another supporter in the turn as well. So there's uses anyway. Melody as well, 10 damage if the defending Pokemon is a basic, it can't attack during the next turn. Okay. So anyway, Skorupi.
So that's really good against like the stuff that's in this set, like Dialga and all that kind of crap.
Skorupi, okay, moving on. Drapion, 100 damage, and it's now paralyzed and poisoned for 4 energy though, that's ouchie. Krogunk, discarding 1 energy from your opponent's active, not bad as a basic Pokemon at all. Toxicroak, Poison Jab, 30 damage, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. And settle the score for 2 colourless, 50 damage. If any of your fighting Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this does 70 more damage. That's funny because I'm not sure that there's any fighting Pokemon in these sets. Anyway, Giratina Prism is the next card I'm coming to here. I had to sort of zoom in on this artwork because it's pretty crazy and you can't really see the Pokemon that well.
It's amazing.
So its ability is Chaotic Star. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may attack 2 Psychic Energy cards from your hand to this Pokemon. It's basically exactly the same as a Darkrai, but a Psychic type.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly the same. And discarding 2 energy from this Pokemon for 160 damage. So it says it for itself.
They're pretty much like the Prism stars in this set pretty much parallel each other, with some things like the Lunala and Solgaleo are pretty much the same. Giratina and Darkrai's abilities are exactly the same.
Yeah, okay, so moving on quickly, because like I said, we're almost an hour in. Sorry guys. Again, if you're still here, put it in the comments. Thank you guys, you're amazing.
Give us a like, it gives us food.
So, Cresselia, normal Pokemon, Crescent Moon, turn, discard energy from this Pokemon, switch all damage counters on this Pokemon with those on your opponent's active. So it's not like just passing them over, it swaps them. So it
depends.
Yeah. Lunala Prism, 160 basic Pokemon, 1 Psychic Energy, Full Moon Star for each of your opponent's Pokemon and play it attached. It's basically exactly the same as the Solgaleo one, looking at it. Except its second attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to all Pokemon in place on your side and your opponent's side, so that can end up doing a lot.
Yeah, the
it doesn't
Lunala
discard any energy.
Yeah, the Lunala can end up being better than the Solgaleo, to be honest with you.
It can be, yeah. That's pretty good. I like that a lot.
Yeah, the Solgaleo is basically done for setup rather than just like pure run.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the next GX here, so Dawnwing's Necrozma GX. This one has an ability called Invasion. Once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you can switch it with your opponent's active. With your active, sorry. So it's basically like Ultra Road then.
but different.
But you can switch it's this Pokemon specific.
Yeah.
Okay. Its normal attacks are 3 Psychic Energy and Flash of Darkness does 120 damage, and it isn't affected by resistance, so that's really good. So it's not going to be doing 100, it's not going to be doing any less than 120 unless obviously there's an effect of a thing on the Pokemon saying it can't attack. That's pretty good. It's only 3 energy as well, so and its GX attack is the same, it does 180 damage, and this attack can only be used if you have more prize cards than your opponent. Prevent all effects of attacks including damage onto this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So unlike Solgaleo that does a lot of damage with its attack, this one just says I'm not going to be hit in my next turn, unless of course you're using that Dialga, because that would go through that.
Yeah, but this one has 180, so it makes sense that's more like defensive with that GX attack, to be honest with you. Which is like really good, and it's cheaper than the Solgaleo, who's just like, oh, I'm going to focus on instantly killing.
Yeah.
Rather than, this one that focuses on like defensive.